In the season's final week, the Royals are trying to prove they're not just a singles hitting team. And in this series with Minnesota, the Royals have 23 hits. More than half have been for extra bases, and 5 have cleared the wall. Tonight, the Royals go for a sweep on Fox Sports Kansas City. With the win tonight, Luke Kochaber will have his first winning season in the major leagues. And with the win tonight, the Royals would complete a 3-game sweep over the Minnesota Twins. Hi, everyone. Welcome back to Kauffman Stadium with Royals Hall of Famer Frank White. I'm Ryan Lefevre. And the Royals are hoping that this surge of power will carry over into next season. And speaking of a power surge, right now Mike Aviles is hitting a home run about every 10 at-bats.
And he's actually trying to hit those home runs, Ryan. He's trying to reach his 2008 total of 10. And I spoke to him today, and he said, every time I go up there, that's what I'm trying to do.
And for a while, it looked like Mike wasn't going to get a lot of playing time at second base in the final month of the season because Chris Getz was playing there, but Getz is down with a concussion.
And you have to take advantage of those opportunities. Mike right now is trying to solidify a spot on this team for 2011. He's been playing a little bit of third, a little bit of second base, and there's even been some talk about him going to the outfield. So he's going to make sure that what he can do offensively this year carries over the next spring.
And then how about AT KCA, who is hitting .500 in his last 14 at-bats, and he was perfect last night.
Well, Ryan, I tell you, we're really getting an opportunity to see what this guy can really do, the kind of power he really has. He's standing back and using his hands, and, last night, 2 home runs, a triple, and he hit 4 runs scored, 4 RBI. What a night for AT KCA.
So there he is, zipping around the bases for his first Major League triple, and then zipping around Kauffman Stadium before the game tonight in an official NASCAR. So we'll see if that carries over into tonight. We'll have more from Kauffman Stadium right after this. To learn more, visit Kia.com. By Kellogg's, the best to you each morning. and by the Missouri Lottery. You know, there's been so much focus this year on the Royals offense that the pitching, in some regards, has gotten a free pass, but the Royals are last in the American League in ERA. And if Luke Hochevar wins tonight, he would be the only starting pitcher from the opening day starting rotation that would finish with a winning record. That would be 7-6. What does Luke have to do tonight against Minnesota? Here's the Kia report.
All right, he's got to look to make better use of his pitches tonight. With that meaning, let each pitch set up the next pitch and make them and really execute those pitches. And the key tonight for him right now is just to finish strong and get in the next spring and start this thing all over for himself.
Minnesota Twins lineup tonight is presented by M&I Bank, and Jim Thome is no longer here. He's back in Minnesota working on his sore lower back, so Ron Gardenhire is moving the designated hitter position around to give some of his regulars half the game off. It was Orlando Hudson as the DH last night. It's left fielder Delman Young tonight. Still no Joe Mauer. That means no Gold Glove behind home plate and no .529 batting average. That's what he does against Luke Hochevar. He is not in the lineup. Good news for the Royals. The first pitch is next. With digital cable. Down to the field, and let's welcome in Joel Goldberg.
Ryan, thanks. You were talking about the Twins lineup and all of those injuries, and we're told that Joe Mauer is going to get back in there tomorrow when they head back to Target Field and DH, and then the plan is to try to get him behind the plate for a couple of games over the weekend, then try to get Jim Thome back in for a couple of games. And the report from Minnesota guys is that Justin Morneau's had 4 really good days in a row, but don't necessarily expect him to play in the first round of the playoffs, guys.
All right, thank you, Joel. It is amazing how well the Twins have held it together this year with all of the injuries, but since they have clinched, they have lost 5 in a row, and that is their longest losing streak of the year. And all those guys that Joel talked about are on offense, and they've been able to hold it together with the bats. but it's been the pitching that has really let down the Twins, at least over the last 5 games.
Well, that's the point, Ryan, that you really look at and you say, well, okay, offense will leave you at times, and usually after you clinch, the offense does go down a little bit, but when it's just starting pitching, then you really kind of worry about that.
Three balls and no strikes on Denard Span, who has only 1 hit so far in the series, but he's walked 3 times, and he has scored twice. Three balls and 1 strike. This is the 5th appearance for Luke Hochevar since coming back from the disabled list, so there should be no restrictions. He went on the DL on June the 16th. Problems with his elbow after a 4-inning start at Cincinnati. Prior to that, he had 4 straight starts where he went at least 7 innings, so he was really on a roll when he went down with the elbow injury. And Span goes from 3-0 to striking out. Never took the bat off his shoulder, and there's 1 away.
Well, Luke did a good job getting back coming all the way back in this at bat, and this is a top of the strike zone fastball on the outer half.
.76 degrees. Game started at 7:09. Time and temp brought to you by the Parking Spot. Easy to spot, easy to park. The Parking Spot at KCI. Outside to Orlando Hudson, who was the designated hitter last night. Back at second base tonight with his 4 Gold Gloves. And like Denard Span, just 1 hit so far in the series, but he has walked 3 times. 1-1. Hochevar lost on Friday at Cleveland, giving up 4 runs in 5 innings. He did not allow a big inning to the Indians, but he gave up 4 one-run innings. In fact, in his 5 innings, in 4 of the 5, the Indians scored. So he was pitching with stress all night.
Well, the defense was stressed out too. I tell you, they like those 1, 2, 3 innings too. Those get them through some games, through a game pretty quickly also. So when they can sit back and make routine plays, that makes their life a lot easier.
Orlando Hudson has made the most of his 11 at-bats against Luke Hochevar with 6 hits. There are 3 hitters in the Twins lineup tonight who have never faced Hochevar. 2 balls, 2 strikes. As a team, this is the 4th time the Twins face Luke. He is 1-0 with 2 no decisions. The last time they faced him was Luke's first appearance coming back from the disabled list, when he had a piggyback start with Brian Bannister, who actually started the game but was only going to go 3, followed by Luke, who went 3, and the Twins scored 3 runs in that inning.
Brian, you pointed out something in Luke's last start about the fact that he kind of slows himself down to really try to get himself together. He's so revved up. But in tonight's game, he's getting the ball, he's on the mound, he's ready to go, and so it's really how fast a hitter gets in the box tonight, because he's got the ball, not moving at all, he's ready to go. So he goes in and out of those things. So you ask yourself, why the extremes?
On the ground to Betancourt, and Uni throws out Orlando Hudson, 2 down. So it's Delman Young to the plate, not Joe Mauer. And here is what the Twins have missed with him out of the lineup. His last game was on September the 19th, so 10 games ago. And the Twins are 3-5 since then. But look at the ERA, the difference with him out. And against the Royals, the ERA without Joe Mauer. So we talk so much about his hitting, as we should, with 3 batting titles in 4 years. But that's also a Gold Glove catcher behind home plate. Good start for Luke Hochevar, a 1-2-3, top of the 1st. is presented by M&I Bank. And the only change tonight from the first two games, Wilson Bedamy, who's been out for a few games after being hit by a pitch in Cleveland, is back in there at third base. And Josh Fields, who has a 2-run home run in each of the last two games, is on the bench. Facing right-hander Scott Baker, and here's a look at the Kia report.
Scott Baker ran on the road. His last win was August 27th, and his last start versus Royals, a 9-8 loss on June 10th at Target Field. And I think he's, along with Kevin Sloy, they're battling for that postseason bullpen slot, which would be pretty much long relief.
And Sloy in game one of this series only won an inning and 2/3 and gave up 6 runs. And the Twins are running out of time as far as making decisions for the postseason roster. When they leave, they go home, and will finish up with 4 games against Toronto. And the Royals will be home with 4 against Tampa Bay. Jarrod Dyson just 1 out of 10 in the series, but that one hit was his first major league home run on Monday night. He has 2 stolen bases, 3 runs scored, and 3 RBIs. And he's on base to begin the bottom of the first inning. Scott Baker is no different than any other Minnesota Twins pitcher. Hardly ever walks anyone. That's only his 40th this year in over 165 innings.
Well, in the past, when you had David DeJesus leading off for the Royals, you could probably get away with a first inning walk because David doesn't steal bases. But a guy like Dyson really changes the game for you.
Strike on Mike Aviles. And with Dyson's speed, that might be the only non-fastball that Aviles is going to see. Dyson with 8 stolen bases since joining the Royals, and he's been thrown out once. So good speed at first and a hot hitter at the plate. Dyson is not running, and Aviles takes outside. 1 ball, 1 strike. Lance Barksdale, the first base umpire, says no swing. So Aviles with a 6-game hitting streak. He is 4 out of 8 in this series and fell a home run shy of hitting for the cycle last night. And he admitted afterwards that he was trying to hit a home run.
Well, you really can't blame him in that situation, but as we know, when you try to do something in this game, as far as hitting goes, chances are it's not going to happen for you.
You had 2, right?
2 cycles, yes.
What was your final hit in the 2 cycles?
One was a triple and the other was a home run.
Wow. So you needed the big hits.
I needed the big hits.
And were you trying to hit a home run when you hit the home run?
No, I don't think so. When you don't hit a lot of home runs, you just take them as they come.
What about the triple?
The triple, I got some luck. It was in Anaheim, and the left fielder went over. Ron Jackson was the left fielder. The ball was a line drive over short. They had a real fast outfield, and the ball hit and was going in the alley and hit off his toe.
Orlando Hudson had to use some fancy footwork to get around Dyson and unload the throw. And it sails over Kadire, but stays in play. So Aviles is at first with 1 out.
Well, when you're playing second base, you have a slow hit ball like this, Ryan. And the one thing he didn't do, he didn't come across the base. He stayed right at the base. And when you got to run all over you like that, this is the tough part about second base. It's right here. This is when you make the decision right here as to whether you're going to eat the ball or throw the ball. And he made a bad decision. He threw off the wrong foot, and the ball went over the head of Kadire at first base. Yeah, Jackson went over in the left center field to try to cut it off. And he went off, hit right on the toe and went further into the outfield. That's how he got the triple.
Aviles is out. What a great play by shortstop AT KCA to somehow catch the throw and then apply the tag.
All right, we talked about getting inside the bag, and if the ball's going to run back into the runner like that one, but if you're inside the bag down the line, you got a chance to make that play.
That play looks a lot easier in super slow-mo.
Very athletic play right there.
So KCA, who's filling in at short, he is expected to move back to second base next year. J.J. Hardy, another injured Minnesota Twin, and he's back in Minnesota working on a sore knee. 2-1 on Billy Butler, hitless last night. 2 out of 8 in the series. And he has had a bad time against Scott Baker. Two balls, 2 strikes. Well, the guy behind him, kind of like Ken Harvey, just disappearing behind the tarp. And the ball ends up where it should. And Butler's bad luck continues against Baker. He is 2 out of 26. Danny Valencia coming up. Luke Hochaver getting a strikeout, a ground out, and a fly out in the top of the first. Kubel had a big night on Monday, driving in 5 runs. And after the Royals had a 7-3 lead early in the game, his 3-run home run put Minnesota in front, but the Royals came back and won 10-8. And it was no contest last night, with the Royals winning 10-1. Minnesota Twins had won 9 consecutive series here at Kauffman Stadium going back to August of 2007. And for whatever reason, the Royals have just had a tough time sweeping Minnesota here in Kansas City. The last time they did that was July of 1994. 16 years. Good curveball. Luke strikes out his second, and there's one away in the second.
That's a long run, Ryan. 1994. You know, Fox Track shows us this curveball from Luke. Luke does have an excellent curveball. And I really believe that with his ability to throw the curveball, the changeup, the fastball, which sinks, and then you can take some of those pitches and kind of wipe them off to the side. I believe that about most pitchers, is that sometimes when you have so many pitches to worry about throwing, you got to go back and say, well, which pitches do I command the best, and stay with those pitches.
A slider is in for a strike on Michael Kadire. Fastball just missed. 1 ball, 1 strike. Well, that start against Cleveland, you and I thought at the time that Luke really had an erratic fastball that night, and that's what the Indians were jumping on, but his curveball and his slider was very good. So far tonight, everything appears to be working, and he's retired the first 5. Tonight's number for our Take the Field sweepstakes is 16. If you'd like to win a pair of replica Royals jerseys, go to foxsportskansascity.com during tonight's game and enter the sweepstakes, including number 16. There's a jersey winner every game.
Bo Jackson. I think he was waiting for me to say something. I was trying to rack my brains. His came to me right away. And after that, I'm not sure about 16, other than the present team.
Ball one to Danny Valencia, 1 out of 9. Remember when he was 8 for 12 the last time the Twins were here with 7 RBIs. Right center field, and it's going to kick off of Jay Miller's leg, and Valencia thought about going to second base, and now he has to return to first in a hurry as Miller gets it back to the infield.
Yeah, Pick Tracks brought to us by Chevrolet, Ryan. You see this ball's hit right here, so now it's when you got to really leave home plate looking to get a double. So if you leave home plate, make their good turnaround first, you might be able to force the issue at second base.
And now strike on Jason Repko, who has appeared only as a defensive replacement so far. So he's in left as Delman Young is the designated hitter. And that's lined towards left center field. Valencia will hold at second base and now advance as Dyson has trouble picking up the ball. And down to second base is Repko. It is a single and an error on Dyson.
Repko goes down. He had a slider from Luke. Nice line drive right in the left center field. And Dyson goes over to try to make this play, Ryan, but just hit the ball off the heel of his glove. Just got a little bit too much of a hurry. That's a play that you got to assume that a good runner is going to go first or third. So you just got to make sure that you can get the ball back to the infield and keep that force out in order.
And now Drew Butera to third base. And Betamede right on target to Kai Hue. And that's it for the Twins in the second inning.
And last night we saw the name Matt on the side of Keela's hat, and talking to him about that today was to honor the life of 15-year-old Matt Hernan, who lost his life earlier this week to a brain tumor. And the Hernan family, a lot of members of their family actually work here at Kauffman Stadium, and Keela said he didn't know Matt all that well, had met him maybe one or two times, but actually the relationship between the Hernan family and a member of the Royals was with Jose Guillen, something that was really not talked about. Jose didn't publicize it, but Jose really donated and gave that family a lot of money as they were battling through the health costs. And so when Keela was approached yesterday by a member of the Royals organization asking if he wanted to wear the hat with the name on it. He said absolutely. Had a chance to talk to the family after the game. And I asked him, too, I said, did it mean anything to go 3 for 3, hit those 2 home runs to honor, Matt's life? And he said, even if I was 0 for 4, let's put it in perspective. I'm lucky to still be breathing. Gus?
Well, there goes another one for Matt. And Keela has 3 home runs in the last 2 games. So Keela with his 5th hit in this series. They are all extra base hits.
He's done an outstanding job waiting on this slider, Ryan. Just a hanger right out over the plate, and he gets extended on this pitch. Didn't waste any time at all getting this ball out of the ballpark. Just take a real good look at his swing. Top hand underneath, right through the ball. Then the wrist roll afterwards, finish high. He got everything through that swing.
So 8 home runs, 23 RBIs. And 6 RBIs in this series. No balls, 2 strikes on Bedamit.
Well, again, good look at his hip turn, hands come right down through the ball. I mean, just an outstanding swing, outstanding look at how he stays back on his backside, hits against a stiff front leg. It's a great swing.
Still 0-2 on Bedamit, so we can update the numbers. The Royals have scored 21 runs so far in this series, 24 hits, 13 extra base hits, and 6 home runs. Bedamit is down on strikes, so Baker comes back with a strikeout, his 2nd. Let's take a look at tonight's You Call It, presented by Sprint. Who's going to have the biggest impact for the Twins in the playoffs? Joe Mauer, Delman Young, who has 108 RBIs, Matt Capps coming over in a trade as closer, and they're so important in the postseason, or Brian Dunsing, the former Nebraska Cornhusker. Text 432-432, enter keyword Royals, followed by a space, and then A, B, C, or D. Dunsing has made 12 starts now for the Twins after making 40 relief appearances, and he is 10-3.
Well, game 3 of a short series is a real important game, too, and he'd be sitting right there to sway the balance one way or the other for his ball club.
Alex is 2 out of 7 in the first 2 games. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Royals are facing Scott Baker for the 3rd time this year, the first time since June. And in that game, the Royals scored 5 runs in 5 innings. The thing I remember about that game was the Twins, who are so good on defense, they committed 3 errors in 1 inning, and it was the first time in 4 years they had done that. So Baker lost that game back in April. Baker beat Zach Greinke in the Royals, giving up just 2 runs in 7 innings. Inside to Alex, 3 balls, 2 strikes.
I think that's one area that Dayton Moore wants to try to improve for next season, too, is the defense. You know, they really thought the defense would be a lot better this year than they played, and I think that's going to be a focus going into spring training, is how to improve that defense.
Still 3 balls, 2 strikes. Baker has very good career numbers against the Royals. You might remember back in 2007, he took a perfect game into the 9th inning. He walked John Buck and then gave up a base hit to Mike Sweeney, but still got his first major league shutout. And then last year, he took a no-hitter into the 7th inning against the Royals, but the Royals scored 5 in that 7th inning, and Baker went from a potential no-hitter to a loss very quickly. That's his 2nd walk tonight. The Royals have a runner at first with 1 out. Baker, a second-round pick of the Minnesota Twins. Back in 2003, he was a 19-game winner last year, and that was after missing the first month of the season. Let me take that back. He was a 15-game winner, but didn't make his first start until May the 8th. Ball one to Yuniesky Betancourt. Uni put an end to an 0 for 10 last night. 1 for 8 in the series. He has driven in 2 runs, giving him 78, and that leads the Royals. Nice save by Butera, 2 balls and no strikes. Baker has not lost since July the 19th. He is 5-0 in his last 9 starts, but during that stretch, he was out for a while with a bad right elbow, and it was after September, so you don't have to put anyone on the disabled list with the expanding rosters. So this is just his second start since coming back with the sore elbow, and Uni hits a shot right on the line and down into the left field corner. Alex Gordon to third base. He will stop there, and right behind him with a double is Yuniesky Betancourt.
Uni does a good job of picking his pitch. I mean, this is a pitch he doesn't miss very often, Ryan. That ball belt high, moving in on him, and he's able to keep this ball fair right inside the line. You can just see him going right into second base. That's a sure double down in the corner.
And Uni is safe at second base. Safe and secure. New York life. So second and third, one out for Lucas May, who missed the slider. 0-1. Lucas drove in 3 on Monday night. Also had his first major league extra base hit, a double. Chance to drive in 2 here with Gordon at third and Betancourt at second. One ball, one strike. Scott Baker has given up a home run to Keila Kaihue in this inning. Keela's 8th of the year, and his 3rd in the last 2 days. And then after striking out Wilson Betemit, walked Gordon and gave up the double to Betancourt. Two and one.
But the one thing you don't want to see a guy that just hit a home run do is see him talking to the trainer in the dugout. It could be just a harmless conversation, but you don't like to see it. You'd be home watching it on TV. Why is he talking to the trainer?
Into left center field. Gordon scores. Betancourt will be held at third. The throw goes all the way to the plate, but no further advance. And Lucas May drives in his 6th, and the Royals lead 2-0.
Right now, Ryan, Scott Baker's getting hurt on his off-speed. The off-speed staying up out over the plate. They're just not doing anything at all. And Lucas May just stays right with it. It's a line drive into left field. That's an easy score for Alex on that one. And Yuniesky, you can see him really putting on the brakes coming around third.
So 4 RBIs in the series for Lucas May, and first and third for Jay Miller. Royals are getting a long look at Jay Miller lately because Mitch Meyer has been out with a sore knee. And he originally hurt that with a very hard slide during the last road trip in Detroit. And if Mitch Meyer is out with a sore knee, believe me, it's a sore knee.
Yeah, I'm just not used to seeing him in the training room at all. We've seen him make slides into the wall down the right field line. We've seen him come in and try to shoestring a ball and take a big divot out of the outfield, and still just kept right on playing. It's a hard guy to get out of there. He'd be a hard guy to come in and say, I can't play. That really bothers him a lot.
Miller gets himself down in the count, chasing a pitch out of the strike zone. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Yeah, Jay, I think he likes the ball down. He's had a lot of hanging, breaking balls. He's been getting under a little bit and really slicing a little bit, but he's more of a low ball hitter with the swing that he has.
So the Twins pitch him up, and it's 2-2.
And one thing he does is when he goes to hit, his hands move forward and the bat head goes under, and that's what gets him under some good pitches that he probably, if he can't have a level swing, he probably could hit the square a few more of those pitches up.
Got him with a slider away. Baker strikes out his 3rd. And there are 2 down. So the top of the order again, and Gerard Dyson. And Baker walked him on 4 pitches to begin the first inning. And then Gerard was erased on a force out. And now he's missed with 5 straight against Dyson. 1 ball, no strikes.
I talked to Bert Blyleven about the pitching and how it's been on this road trip, and he seems to think that it'll straighten itself out over the weekend, and as they get closer to the playoffs, he thinks that everybody will go up another notch in their mental approach, and they'll be ready to go the first game of the playoffs. But he said the only thing that kind of concerns him is the fact that the scores have been so lopsided.
Even though they have been so good in the Central Division over the last 9 years, and they've won 6 titles over that stretch, most of the time it's gone down to the very end of the season. Remember in 06, they were hanging out at the Metrodome when their game was over to see what the Royals did with the Tigers. So that went down to the final game of the season. And then last year they had to play a 163rd game of the year like they did the year before. Last year they beat the Tigers to win the division. In 2008, the Twins lost to the White Sox. So they're not used to having all this time. And for the Twins, it's 11 days between clinching the division and the last game of the regular season.
Yeah, the story is probably going to be this weekend, right? Because none of these guys that we're seeing right now are going to pitch, except for Nick Blackburn, who's scheduled to go on Sunday. But you'll see Liriano, Pavano, and Dunsing over the weekend, and that'll give you a pretty good read on where they are pitching-wise.
3 balls and 2 strikes on Dyson. It's a 33-pitch inning for Baker. He has allowed a home run to Keila Kaihue and an RBI single to Lucas May. May is running, and Dyson strikes out. So Baker strikes out the side, but the Royals get 2. Nation's fastest mobile broadband network. AT&T, rethink possible. By Panera Bread. Explore a menu of hearty soups, salads, sandwiches, and breakfast items at Panera Bread. And by Chevrolet. Come see for yourself why 1,000 people a day are switching to Chevy. See your Kansas City area Chevy dealer. So Luke Hochevar working with a 2-0 lead. The 9, 1, and 2 hitters coming up for Minnesota. Twins got back-to-back hits with 2 outs in the second inning, but Luke was able to get Drew Butera to ground out. And now ball 1 on AT KCA. We were talking about last half inning, the Twins going down to the wire in years past as far as clinching the division. Well, in game number 163 last year, that was an extra inning game with Detroit, a 12-inning game to decide the division, and it was AT KCA with the game-winning hit to win it. And he drives it to deep center field, but Dyson is back to get it, and there is one away. Tomorrow night is the final college night of 2010. It's a 7:10 game with the Tampa Bay Rays. Specials include select tickets for high school and college students with a valid ID for just $7, plus food and beverage specials in the outfield plaza concession areas. You can get your tickets right now at Royals.com or at 1-800-6-ROYALS. Strike on Denard Span, who came to the plate to begin the game and took 3 pitches. The count was 3-0. And then he took 3 more pitches and struck out. He swings the bat for the first time. And Alex towards the line runs it down. So 2 fly ball outs. And now Orlando Hudson. So Luke Hochevar off to a good start. Appears to have command of all of his pitches. Hasn't walked anyone, and he has struck out 2. He got Hudson on a ground ball to short in the first inning. Oh! 0-1. Luke is going for his 7th win. This is his final start of the year, and 7 wins would be a career high.
And you pointed out in the opening of the broadcast, Ryan, when you talked about the guys who, the original 5-man starting rotation, if Luke wins tonight, will be the only one with an above 500 record. And that would have been in spring training. You would have said, no, that wouldn't be the case. But you'd have maybe 3 of those guys above 500.
One ball, 2 strikes. Luke first established the career high of 7 wins last year, but he went 7-13. So this would be his first winning season in the big leagues if he can beat Minnesota tonight. Still 1 ball, 2 strikes. He is also going for career win number 20. Try and get that overall record closer to 500. And that pitch may have been ball 2, but Hudson reaches out and singles into left field. A pretty good swing with Hudson down in the count. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
We take a look at it right here. This is a breaking ball that hung up and gave him an opportunity to go out there and hit it. If he had that hard bite to it, they probably would have hit over the top of it. And that's a good piece of hitting right there.
And now Delman Young, who flied to center field his first time, and he takes a slider low, ball 1. Tonight's Sprint You Call It question: who will have the biggest impact for the Twins in the playoffs? Joe Mauer, who has a sore knee, Delman Young, closer Matt Capps, or starting pitcher Brian Dunsing. Text 432-432. The keyword is Royals. A space, A for Maurer, B for Young, C for Caps, D for Dunsing. Missed outside with a 2-0 slider. And now it's 3-0 on Delman Young, who is 5th in the American League with 108 RBIs. And now he walks on 4 pitches. So 2 straight innings with 2 outs and nobody on. The Twins get back-to-back base runners. That is Luke Hochevar's first walk.
I think that's probably one of those situations where starting pitchers should really start to pride themselves on how they can close out an inning. You get the 2 outs, and you see so many 2-out rallies, and you should be in a position where you can close those innings out, and that's where I think you should have a higher percentage of inning closures.
And early in Luke Hochevar's career, that was a big problem. Remember how many runs would score with 2 outs? And now he throws this one past Lucas May. And the runners move up on the wild pitch.
Well, Lucas May didn't really have a chance. This is really right at the right knee of Jason Kubel, and he had no chance to see this ball as it went by. And that was one of the areas that Kyle Davies was very good for most of this season, closing out innings with 2 outs.
There are a million adjustments that a position player or a pitcher has to make when they come to this level. But for a pitcher, getting the 3rd out and getting the 3rd strike is a lot more difficult in this level, at this level, than it is in the lower levels.
That is true, and you see more innings fall apart after 2 outs than you would normally think. You know, you would think that the pitcher would go to another level when you get to 2 outs and just try to close this inning down.
And Kubel lines it to left, but Alex is right there. So Hochevar escapes the 3rd inning, and the Royals lead 2-0. Mike Aviles takes a swing and a miss to begin the bottom of the 3rd inning. 2-0 Royals. This is Rich and Judy Cummings, instrumental in creating the Hillcrest Ministries thrift shop in Kansas City, Missouri. And that thrift shop supports the services of Hillcrest Ministries Transitional Housing of Platte County that helps homeless families become self-sufficient and have a home of their own. And in addition to helping found the thrift store, they have raised over $750,000 to help expand the housing part of the program from 6 apartments to 20. Into deep right center, Denard Spann runs down the drive from Mike Aviles, who is 0 for 2. Royals getting both of their runs in the second inning on a home run from Kila Kaihue and a single from Lucas May. Tonight's league leaders are brought to you by your Kansas City area Toyota dealers. And in the month of September, the Royals have 2 players among the top 4. Mark Ellis, who is from the Royals system, leads the league. And then Mike Aviles and Billy Butler are both at 371. And Billy will add to that with a base hit past third and down into the corner. Repko's throw is cut off, and Billy has his 43rd double of the year.
See, his fastball ran in on his hands, Ryan. He didn't try to get inside this one. He basically went right with it and dropped the head of the bat right on the ball and tried to pull this ball as it was pitched. And did a good job keeping it inside the line at third base. And you see Billy hustling to second base.
And a strike to Kila, and Billy hits a couple of milestones with that double. His base hit is his 184th, which passes his career high from last year. And with 43 doubles combined with 51 last season, that's 94 in consecutive years. And that's a Royals record. And he was almost picked off of second base.
A lot of times that shortstop waits to see how fast you make your retreat back to the bag after the pitch has gone past the hitter. And you see Billy shuffling off. It's that little hesitation out there they look for and gives him an opportunity to try to pick you off. So that once that right foot hits, as a base runner, you got to be hustling to get back to that bag.
And by going and standing, he made it much easier for AT KCA.
Much easier because he was able to tag him high before that foot get in there a lot of times. But normally you don't like to throw the ball to the shortstop, especially when a left-hander trying to pick off a runner at second. Even that play, if you don't see daylight between the base runner and the fielder.
Kila swung, and it's 2 balls, 1 strike. Kila on a 2-1 pitch in the second inning. Homered to right center field. So 3 for him in the last 2 games. And he's driven in 6 in the 3-game series.
So a lot of times when you're a middle infielder, what you look for is a base runner to be in an athletic position. If he's in an athletic position, you feel like you won't have a chance to pick him off. But you get the guy up there that stands straight up and down when he comes off the base, and that's the guy you want to try to pick off because it's a lot harder for him to push off and go back to the bag. So if you shuffle off and you end up with your knees not bent, now you have an opportunity to pick this guy off because he has nothing to push with to get back to the bag.
Almost hit Kila on the foot. 3-1.
Yeah, on this one here, Ryan, Kila didn't give it a chance to get to his foot. This one hung out over the plate, and he did a good job of driving this ball. One thing about Kila, when he hits balls on a line, they travel fast. They get to where they're going to get in a hurry.
How about that little handshake with Josh Fields?
I noticed that last night.
Down low, and then the shot fired in the air. Well, we were all wrong. Our Fox scoring bug had 3 balls, 1 strike. The scoreboard had 3 balls, 1 strike. So unless the rules have changed, it was actually 2-2. And Baker has 5 strikeouts. Wilson Betemit struck out in the second inning. He has been out of the lineup since the Cleveland series. He was hit by a pitch on Saturday night. Wasn't in the game on Sunday and missed the first 2 games of this series. He has Billy Butler at second base with 2 outs. 1-1.
See, Wilson looks a little bit, his timing just looked a little bit off. You know, you miss 3 or 4 days. It's kind of hard to come back in there and have that same rhythm that you had before you went out. So he's got some good pitches to hit. Some he swung through, and some he's fouled off.
Bedemeat hasn't seen a lot of Scott Baker, but it's been all or nothing. 1 for 3. Baker has struck him out twice, and Bedemeat has a home run. You can see the catcher, Drew Butera, telling Baker to shake off his signs, trying to get in Wilson Bedemeat's head. Had him shake off a couple of signs. And then after all that, Baker turned towards second base. Two and two. Scott Baker out of Oklahoma State. Twins took him in the second round of 2003. He is from Shreveport, Louisiana. Butera wants the pitch down, and it stayed up, and Baker's lucky that Bedemeat just fouled it away. And Butera is a bit concerned, and he's going to go out and talk to Scott Baker. And he had that glove palm down, emphasizing make sure this pitch is down.
I think on the other side of that coin, Wilson Bedemeat's had at least 3 pitches in the bat that he could drive, and because his timing is a little off, he's fouled them all off.
AT KCA keeping Billy Butler on his toes. Billy doesn't necessarily appreciate it. And Butera drops it. Didn't catch it up above his eyes. He let it get down below his shoulder. And he will be hit with an error, even though the play continues.
Well, you called it right there, Ryan. Watch his head and watch where the glove is. The eyes have to follow the ball into the glove. And you can see his eyes are on the ball, but lucky he closed his eyes right at the point of the ball hitting the mitt. I don't know why he would do that.
So Bedemeat is still breathing at 2 balls, 2 strikes. And Baker only needs 1 more pitch. He has struck out 6, but he and the Twins are down 2-0. Ball one to Michael Kadire with the Royals in front 2-0. Minnesota no runs, 3 hits against Luke Hochevar. Luke has 1 walk and 2 strikeouts. And Kadire pops it up on the right side. Lucas May is there, and he makes the catch. Here's tonight's Roadrunner Turbo Speed Pitch comparison. Luke Hochevar at 95 so far. Scott Baker is topped out at 96. And you can double your speed with Roadrunner Turbo from Time Warner Cable. Luke retired the first 5 tonight. And then Danny Valencia singled to right center field. And now he hits a single to center field.
Luke leads this ball up. I don't know. I'm just right in the middle of the plate. Valencia hits a line drive, and Luke had to make that quick move because anything back through the middle like that, pitchers do have a tendency to flinch a little bit. But just getting it up in his zone, those are the pitches that are going to get hit for the most part.
And now Jason Repko at the plate. He singled his first time up. Remember last night we had David DeJesus up here, and we were going over his medical history early in his career and what he's had to overcome. Jason Repko, back in '99, was a first-round pick in the sandwich round of the Dodgers and didn't quite become the player that both he and the Dodgers thought he would, but here's a reason why, or reasons. That same year he had a concussion. 2 years later he broke his back, and when it didn't heal properly, it was intentionally broken again to make sure it would heal. He had a left ankle injury in '06, left foot surgery in '06, and then in '07 he had surgery to reattach 2 hamstrings to his pelvic bone.
My goodness.
And he's still playing.
It's
1 ball, 2 strikes.
It's that re-broken back that I'm thinking about is, man. And the hamstring situation, I mean, oh my goodness. I mean, he's got to feel like the luckiest man in the world every time he walks into a major league clubhouse.
Or the bionic man.
Wow.
2 balls, 2 strikes. Twins needed some depth in their outfield, so they picked him up after he was released by the Dodgers. And shortly after being picked up, the Twins came to Kauffman Stadium. He had a 6-hit series with a home run and 5 runs scored.
And back then, they didn't know as much about concussions then as they do now. So he definitely had to overcome some things back when he first started. I mean, the doctor who recommended to break his back again and say, well, if you let me do this, you'll be able to walk and perform normally on the baseball field. I'm sure he keeps in touch with that guy.
Chops the slider foul. Still 2 balls, 2 strikes. Coming up Saturday, the Kansas Jayhawks open their Big 12 conference schedule against the Baylor Bears right here on Fox Sports Kansas City. Coverage begins at 10:30 a.m. with the Big 12 kickoff show, followed by KU and Baylor at 11 a.m. right here on Fox Sports Kansas City. So that means Bob Davis is on his way to Waco. 3 balls, 2 strikes, as well as Nate Bukaty. BD immediately wondering why he's on television right now, and at some point during the game he'll come over here in the booth and say, now what were you saying about me? Valencia's running, and that's ball 4, so 2 on with 1 out. So BD will be up in the booth, and Nate will be roaming the sidelines in Waco, Texas. along with David Lawrence up in the booth with Bob Davis. Now he's praying. Did you see the hands in the prayer formation there? Praying that we're being kind to him, which we always are, aren't we?
I think so.
He just assumes the worst. Yeah, now let's look over at him from up here. See if we can get his attention. No, he's locked in. Butera grounded out to third in the second inning. 1 ball, 1 strike. Butera's ground out was a big out for Hochevar. With 2 outs and nobody on, Valencia singled, Repko singled, and they both moved up on an error by Gerard Dyson. So second and third, 2 outs, and then the ground ball to third. Down and away, 2 balls, 1 strike. In the third inning, with 2 outs and nobody on, Orlando Hudson singled, Delman Young walked, and then Jason Kubel lined to left. This is Butera's second start in the series, and so far hitless. Chop towards third again. Bedamit charges, throws on the run low, in time. Butera goes down as he stumbles over the bag. Urquela just made a huge play on a short throw from Bedamit.
Right, the one thing he does well here is that he doesn't try to stretch out and take this ball. He's really in a mode to try to block this ball, to try to keep from getting by him, and did a good job having his glove in the right position to catch this ball. And he did get a little bit too much foot across the base to trip up Butera, but he just looked real soft and smooth on that play. He got a knee to the hip.
And now KCA pops it up. So the Twins have had 2 base runners in each of the last 3 innings, but they have stranded 6. Great pick on a throw that was in the dirt. So Luke Hochevar, because of that, has 4 scoreless innings tonight. The Twins have left 6 in those 4 innings. Keela's also contributed with the bat with his 8th home run of the year. Lucas May has driven in a run with a single. And the Royals lead Scott Baker and the Twins 2-0. Alex Gordon launches it into the parking lot. Almost. That thing went into the tunnel, which is not far from the very edge of the stadium.
I saw it disappear, and I thought it might have went over that back wall up there.
Remember the ball Travis Hafner hit?
Oh, my goodness.
During the last homestand that hit the speaker just below the lights off the right field line, which is, I think, in the same area code as the ballpark.
That's a long way up there.
Far left bottom speaker, and it was still going. One ball, 2 strikes to Alex. He walked with 1 out in the second inning and came around to score on Lucas May's base hit. Yuniesky Betancourt will be next, and then Lucas May. Down by Alex's feet. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
Did it hit his foot?
I guess it did. He didn't immediately go to first base. So hit by a 1-2 pitch, and the Royals have the leadoff man on. Well, sure did. Actually got him on the, might have gotten him on the front shin and the back foot.
Not much of a reaction on Alex's part.
He should get second base for that, shouldn't he?
He should have.
You get hit twice by the same pitch?
He should have jumped up or something. I don't know. Have you ever got hit twice? You ever been hit twice on the same ball? Huh. Can't remember. But usually when you get hit down around the ankle or anywhere on the foot, you have some reaction, but he had no reaction at all.
Betancourt doubled in the second inning. And up the left field line again. Repko gets there quickly, and so Alex has to stop at second base. So Betancourt is 2 for 2. A good play by Repko to keep runners at first and second.
Taco Bell shows us through Fox Tracks that where this pitch is, Ryan, it's not the best swing in the world. Just hit it right at the end of his swing. But again, he was able to keep the ball fair and get himself a base hit down the line. You can see this ball going down and away. He's at the end of his swing, and it's just all strength at that point to get the ball down the line.
And now Lucas May, who drove in a run in the second inning, his 4th of this series. Busted bat. Man, look out. Danny Valencia at third base. Orlando Hudson makes the catch.
Man, he was very, very lucky that he didn't get this bat right in the midsection. I mean, your normal thought process is follow the ball, and you don't anticipate a bat coming. You look at the sharp end of that bat going down to third base. I mean, he just doesn't. I mean, this is like, wow. I don't know if there's any other wood out there that can be used for baseball bats, but I don't think maple is the one.
We might have to start going to oak.
Now, that'd be a little heavier wood, though, wouldn't it?
Oh yeah.
And then you got hickory, right? You know, those you're getting way up there then.
And then after that, you go to petrified. Popped up, and it's Kadire in foul ground. Infield fly rule, if fair. So Jay Miller is 0 for 2. Coming up on Friday night, Game 2 with the Tampa Bay Rays, and it's Royals Futures Night. Royals minor league pitchers and players of the year will be on the field getting their awards. And before that, there will be an autograph session. And we hope you'll stay after the game for a fireworks spectacular presented by Hy-Vee and Pepsi. Tampa Bay Rays in for 4 beginning tomorrow night. Tyson fouls it away and out of play. You know, there is such a push these days to go green. And I can remember one year playing in the Cape Cod League in the summer. They had something called a bomb bat, B-A-U-M. And it was a wood composite bat. It had a rubber core in it, which kept it from breaking. But it had much more of a wood feel than it did an aluminum bat feel. And it would be breaking quite a tradition in Major League Baseball, but you wonder if at some point they might look at something like that. It was an experiment at the time, and I think that company was hoping that that might catch on in college baseball, which would help the scouts. You could evaluate hitters hitting something closer to wood than aluminum. But it never did. It just ended up being a training tool.
Now they have some bats on the lower levels that would be the same as what you were talking about, bomb bats in Little League. And I know the bread company makes a bat that has a coating on it that's supposed to keep the bat from breaking, and they have guarantees like a 6-month guarantee or something like that. But there are bats, but in the major leagues, it's just nothing but the real thing, which is wood, and that's all they've ever dealt with.
2 balls, 2 strikes on Dyson. Well, I don't know if this is reality or not, but you and I have heard that the reason why, and maybe there are more reasons, but one of the reasons why they don't just go to exclusively ash is because there just isn't enough around. I've gotten that on more than one occasion. Something about a insect that destroyed the ash tree, some kind of. It's just one of those things, Ryan, where you just don't understand it because you've never heard of it. But there's got to be a reason why they went away from ash. You do see some ash bats still around, but not in the quantity that it used to be. Still 2-2 on Dyson, who has walked and struck out tonight.
It's kind of interesting to look, maybe have a bat company like Louisville, who was king of the ash bats forever. Maybe have one of the bat companies come out with a report as why we're not using ash, rather than always waiting for Major League Baseball to come out with a reason why, we don't go to ash. Maybe just have the bat companies here. They would be the ones that would really know what's out there.
Dyson strikes out, and the Royals strand 2 in the 4th. Pitch well with men on base and 2 outs.
And I think that's what counts right now, Ryan. What you kind of see in a carbon copy of last night's game was Sean O'Sullivan on the mound, where you had runners on base continually, but he was able to pitch out of trouble last night, and so far Luke's been able to do it tonight.
Top of the order for Minnesota, and ball 1 on Denard Span. Luke struck him out to begin the game, and then Span flied out to left field. So Denard Span just 1 out of 9 in this series. He does have 3 walks And he has scored twice. Two balls, no strikes. With 2 outs and nobody on in the second, Twins got back-to-back hits. And because of an error, had 2 runners in scoring position. But Hochevar got Drew Butera to ground out. 2-1 in the third inning with 2 outs and nobody on. Twins got a single, then a walk, then a wild pitch. But Hochevar got Jason Kubel on a line out to left. And with 2 on in the fourth inning and 1 out, Hochevar got a ground out and a pop out. The Twins have stranded 6. 2-2 on Denard Span, who waits back as long as he can, which hitters are taught to do. Wait as long as you can before making a decision, but as a consequence, sometimes he will hit some low line drives over the third base dugout.
Well, you remember Joey Gathright. I mean, he would wait forever, and he had everybody in the dugout ducking and everybody behind the dugout ducking. That's really dangerous when you wait that long and don't hit the ball square.
We brought this up a couple times, but remember back in spring training, Denard Span with a line drive like that hit his own mother in the chest in Tampa, where the Yankees have their spring training. And Denard, as well as catcher Jorge Posada, running from home plate over to Denard Span's mom, who was fine. Denard wanted to come out of the game and stay with his mom, and she said, no, go back out there.
And he eventually did come out of the game, and she said, why did you come out of the game? You know how many people came here to watch you play? I think he had like 21 relatives there to watch you play, and she was more upset that he didn't stay in the game and play in front of the relatives. And she said, I'm okay, but I can understand how he was feeling. You know, that's got to be traumatic to see something like that.
He is from Tampa, so that's why so many relatives were there. From Hillsborough High School, which is famous for producing Gary Sheffield and Dwight Gooden, as well as Carl Everett. Good hard slider down and in. Hochevar strikes out his third, and the second time he has struck out Denard Span.
That's a very good breaking ball here, Ryan. Just down into the back leg, hard slider. I mean, that's a tough pitch for a lefty because it looks like it's high enough to hit. Then when you commit, the ball goes down. I think for pitchers to get away with that pitch on a consistent basis, I think a lot of it is the deception that they use on that pitch. It looks like a fastball, and then at the last minute, it just breaks down in a way like a real. It is a real tight slider, but it's just a last-minute break, and it breaks down instead of across the plate.
Orlando Hudson is 1 out of 2 with a single. And 7 out of 13 against Luke Hochevar. His single in the third inning was on a pitch that was way outside, but reached out over the plate, down in the count, didn't take anything for granted, and lined a base hit to left field. And a changeup is in for a strike, 1-2.
That's a real interesting breaking ball pitch count here, 1-2. Usually that back leg slider is called for here, but Luke changes up and goes with the fastball.
Luke is back with the changeup, and you might remember it's a while ago now, but before he went on the disabled list, he started throwing his split-fingered fastball again, which he hadn't thrown since high school. Into the left field corner, Alex dives and he caught it. So another great diving play by Alex Gordon in left field.
And you can really see this dive coming, and you can see him running out of steps, and you can see him planning this dive all the way. And you got to be sure in this situation here that you're going to make this play, because if you don't, it's an inside the park home run for Orlando Hudson. Outstanding play by Alex Gordon.
And now pulled foul by Delman Young, who has walked and flied out to center field. The hardest play for an outfielder at times can be a line drive hit right at him. And even though that wasn't hit right at Alex Gordon, it required him to come in as much as he was going across towards the line, and he has had no trouble with those plays at all.
Not at all. I mean, his jumps have been very good, and he's done an outstanding job of, when he has to dive, he's up on his feet quickly, and he's got an accurate, strong arm. I think a lot of the quickness and getting to the ground and getting up comes from playing third base, being able to dive and stop a ground ball. You're on your feet, make it throw to first, and I think that really works to his advantage going to the outfield.
Lifted to right field. Jay Miller is there. And thanks to the great play by Alex Gordon, Luke Hochevar has an easy 5th inning. And tonight's AT trivia question. #1 overall draft picks to pitch in the majors this season. Mike Aviles with a line drive into right center. So leadoff single. Mike is 1 out of 3. I think I've got all 4 of them, Frank. 2 of them are with the Royals.
Those are the 2 that I have.
The Royals beat another one of them this year. And then as I look ahead, the Royals will see the 4th one.
Well, you gave me that one.
Billy Butler has doubled and he has struck out. So there are your clues.
I've got 3 now.
Okay.
With the last clue, I got 1.
Okay.
But there's still a 4th one out there I don't have. The one that you said we beat earlier.
When I tell you, you're going to kick yourself. 2 balls and no strikes.
I won't do that. I don't recover from bruises too well.
Would you like another hint?
Sure.
It was his first ever loss as a big leaguer. Three balls and no strikes on Billy Butler. We went so far as to add a telecast just so we could see this guy pitch.
I got it.
He was defeated by Brian Bannister in a 1-0 game. Billy takes a 4-pitch walk. 2 on, nobody out for the Royals in the 5th inning.
A national headline. How about that?
So they would be Lou Kochaver, Brian Bullington, David Price, and Steven Strasburg. We'll see David Price for the final game of the season on Sunday afternoon. After stumping us most of the time, every now and then Al Broughton will give us a layup. So Scott Baker has walked 3, and 2 of them have been 4-pitch walks, and that brings Keela to the plate. Apparently everyone's trying to hit that speaker off to the right field side that Travis Hafner hit during the last homestand. Alex Gordon hit a foul ball out in that direction earlier tonight, and Keela the same thing. We were just talking about this last inning. Travis Hafner, that speaker on the far left there, he hit that, and you could see the mark. Or maybe that's a bird that flew over the speaker. Yeah, it left a mark. Here's what we're talking about. I mean, come on.
First you ask yourself, how does the guy hit a ball there? That's about as foul as you can get on a foul ball.
He hit it solid over there. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Sam Abramson digging that one out of the archives.
Well, a few times Keela got out front, Brian. He got fastball inside, and he was trying to get out in front, and Scott Baker threw him a breaking ball in on his hand. So I think one thing about Keela, you leave a breaking ball out over the plate, he seems to be right on time for it, but you get it down a little bit, then he got a chance if it goes inside. But he had a breaking ball against Perkins last night for the triple. So you can see right there how he looks like he's looking inside, and his slider comes right in and really ties him up. And most hitters like to get extended with their arms, and they're just trying to crowd him a little bit in this at bat.
Aviles at second, Butler at first. Over the outside. No argument from Keela, so it's been a struggle for Scott Baker for the most part tonight, but he has also struck out 8. Coming up this Saturday, the first 20,000 fans will receive a Royals Sluggy blanket, courtesy of Fox Sports Kansas City, as the Royals take on Tampa Bay at 6:10. It's also Fan Appreciation Night presented by Sprint, with a chance to win jerseys off the backs of Royals players and coaches, with the proceeds benefiting the Ronald McDonald House. Royals.com, 1-800-6-ROYALS. For the game on Saturday night, there is a makeshift Royals Sluggy. Eyeglasses not included. So first and second, 1 out. And now Wilson Betemit, who has struck out twice against Baker. And just having a tough time seeing the ball out of his hand. Goes down to a knee after that swing. And it's 1-1. Betemit, before striking out the second time, popped up behind the plate. And the foul ball was dropped by Drew Butera. So Betemit was still alive, but Baker only needed one more pitch to put him away. Stroked into the right field corner, but foul. Well, Betemit was right on it, just a little bit out in front.
You can see what Scott Baker was trying to do. He's trying to get the ball down underneath again, Ryan. We left this one up, and this is right into his swing right here. I mean, this is about as head on the ball as you can get right there. Just couldn't keep it fair.
You know, you don't notice it because the ball was hit foul, but it appears that Drew Butera was crossed up on that pitch. He first reached up and then down and in. And now Betamit strikes out for the third time tonight. And Scott Baker has 9. And he is a strikeout pitcher. That gives him 148 this year. And now Alex Gordon to the plate with 2 outs. And in the last half inning, he provided tonight's Chevrolet play of the game.
He truly did right here, Ryan. This is a slicer down the line off the bat of Orlando Hudson, and he goes hard to the line and really gets as stretched out as he can right here. I mean, this is a last-ditch effort to make this play right here. If he doesn't make this play, Hudson runs all night.
And he's going to need at least a cup full of Tide.
At least.
I think that'll be the Tide dirty play of the game during Boulevard Royals Live tonight.
Say hint, hint, Joel.
9 strikeouts is the second most for Scott Baker this year. It ties for the second most. He struck out 9 Yankees in May. But against the Rockies in June, he struck out 12. But he is down 2-0 in the bottom of the 5th inning. A throw down to second base. And if KCA hangs on to that, Aviles might be out. That was the right call. They caught him quite a ways off the bag. And we've seen that rookie Drew Butera is not afraid to throw down to second base.
He's not afraid to throw, Ryan, and KCA is very athletic down there, too. You can see the big gap between him and Aviles right there. But just a great athletic move on his part to get a glove on that ball. The ball's on the bag. It's definitely a tough play right there. He's probably out. But he got inside and was able to get enough glove on that ball to keep it from going out in center field. I like shortstop play like that. I like middle infield play like that. Guys are heads up, not afraid to make plays, and not whether it's a pickoff play from the pitcher or even a pickoff play from the catcher. But you just don't see a lot of pickoffs in the middle of the infield like you used to.
Butera almost picked off Billy Butler back in the 3rd inning after Billy's 1-out double. Alex has walked. He's been hit by a pitch, and he has scored a run. Almost hit again. 3 balls and 1 strike. Just a 2-0 game so far, but there have been base runners everywhere. The Royals have stranded 5 runners in 4 innings, and the Twins have stranded 6 in their 5 innings. And now the bases are loaded.
Hey, Ryan, you were talking before about Scott Baker and the lack of walks on the season, and that's, of course, been the case throughout his whole career. 15 career games now against the Royals. The most he had ever walked in a game against Kansas City was 2. He's got 4 here tonight.
And that ties the season high, Joel. Thank you. Back on July the 30th, he walked 4 Seattle Mariners. And now in 29 starts this year, he has walked 4 twice. That's it. He only walked 1 in his last start against the Indians back on the 21st. That was in 5 innings. So Rick Anderson is out there with the bases loaded and 2 outs. And Baker getting ready to face Yuniesky Betancourt, who is 2 out of 2.
This is a double by Uni here, Ryan, back in the 2nd inning, and right down the line, down into the corner. Anything up and in, out over the plate, he does a good job. Here he gets another base hit to left field on a breaking ball down in the zone. He did a good job keeping it in play.
And he is the Royals' Grand Slam man this year. He has 3. So Aviles at 3rd, Butler at 2nd, Gordon at 1st. Down and away, ball 1. Uni up there with Alex Rodriguez and Adrian Gonzalez for the most grand slams in the major leagues this year. And it ties a Royals team record. Danny Tartabull also had 3 back in 1988. A slow breaking ball, and it's 2 balls and no strikes. Baker will give up home runs. His home run allowed to Keela in the second inning was his 23rd of the year. Popped up. And Kubel coming up in right field. So the Royals lead 3, and now they have stranded 8 in 5 innings. They all belong to the Royals. Keila Kaihue with his 8th home run leading off the second inning. With 1 out, Lucas May singled in Alex Gordon to give the Royals a 2-0 lead. And then Alex Gordon, who has scored one of the runs, with the defensive play of the game. Diving across the line and taking extra bases away from Orlando Hudson. On the mound, Luke Hochevar has pitched 5 scoreless innings. And Jason Kubel pulls it just foul outside of first base. Luke has had a 1-2-3 first inning and a 1-2-3 fifth, but the 3 innings in between, the Twins have stranded 2 runs in each inning. One ball and 1 strike on Kubel. He is struck out and lined to left. And that line out was in the 3rd inning with runners at 2nd and 3rd and 2 down. So that got Luke out of the 3rd. 1-2. It's been a tough month of September for Kubel with the exception of 1 game. And that was Monday. And he came up with 2 hits and 5 RBIs. Otherwise, batting around 180 for the month. And more trouble as he can't get the breaking ball, and Hochevar has his 4th strikeout.
This looks like it's been really the best pitch for Luke tonight right now, Ryan, especially with 2 strikes and going for that strikeout pitch. A hard slider to the back leg of left-handed hitters, and just real good deception on it, good late movement on it.
Michael Kadire back through the middle, and he is 1 for 3 with a 1-out single. Tonight's copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of the Kansas City Royals and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Kansas City Royals Baseball Corporation. Ryan Lefevre with Frank White, Joel Goldberg with producer Kevin Schenk, director Steve Kurtenbach, associate producers Al Broughton and Sam Abramson, and the producer of Royals Live is T.J. McGinnis. Danny Valencia is 2 for 2 tonight. Went too far on that attempt, and it's 0-1. He had intent.
Intent. That's all they want to see is intent. We figure you don't go to the plate to walk, so your intention when you go to the plate is to swing.
Shallow left field. That drops in front of Alex. So Valencia is 3 out of 3. And once again, the Minnesota Twins have 2 base runners.
Well, this is one of the few pitches Luke's left right in the middle of the plate, and Valencia really didn't hit this ball that well. It's right on the end of the bat, and the breaking ball was a little down out over the plate. So not a bad pitch by Luke. Good piece, better hitting by Valencia on that particular pitch.
And just missed outside. Ball 1 on Jason Repko. There's a single and a walk tonight. One ball, 1 strike. Royals have not swept a series at home this year. And as we told you earlier, they have not swept the Minnesota Twins at Kauffman Stadium in 16 years. Good fastball, 1 ball, 2 strikes on Repko. Last sweep here in 3 games was July of 1994. And Luke a bit preoccupied with Kadire at second base and backs off the rubber.
Yeah, the Royals had a pretty strong team in 1994. It very good pitching staff. Gubazar, Napier, David Cone. They did that 14-game winning streak right before the strike. Then things from there just kind of turned.
The strike didn't help out anyone.
No.
But many people would agree that if there were 2 teams that were hurt the most by the strike, it would be the Royals and the Montreal Expos.
I agree. I think the Royals had an outside shot at the wild card they did after that 14-game winning streak. But the strike put a damper on a lot of things. You know, I never dreamed ever you wouldn't have a playoffs and you wouldn't have a World Series. I mean, that was something that as a player you never would ever, regardless of what the labor negotiations were, you never thought it would ever come to that.
Runners go. And Repko takes ball 4. So the bases are loaded. And again, it's Drew Butera. So the Twins need a big hit tonight. A break for Hochevar. Drew Butera has come to the plate. He's a 187 hitter. With runners at second and third and 2 outs in the second inning, Butera grounded out to third. And then with 2 on and 1 out in the 4th inning, Butera grounded out to third. Royals feel like they could have a much bigger lead than 2-0. Minnesota does not have a hit with runners in scoring position. They haven't had many opportunities. And Butera lines it to left. That's going to drop in front of Alex. Everyone moves up 1 station, so Butera, who gets a 3rd opportunity, comes through this time, and it is 2-1.
Well, again, right here, Ryan, you see this pitch is out over the plate and it's up a little bit, but Butera hits it right on the end of the bat. Didn't hit it very well, but just good enough, and that's all you have to do to get that runner in from third. Just get it over the infield, and that's what he was able to do.
So they're loaded up now for AT KCA. And a big curveball drops in for strike one. The Royals get busy now in the bullpen. And Blake Wood begins to throw catch. Play catch, throw catch, pick the ball up, whatever. Start changing terms in game number 158. This inning began with a strikeout. Luke struck out Jason Kubel, but then 2 singles, then a walk, and an RBI base hit. And now KCA is down 1 ball, 2 strikes. Valencia at third, Repko at second, Butera at first. Royals expect KCA to hit the ball towards left. That's where the outfield is swung around, leaving a big gap in right center field. A lot of space between Gerard Dyson and Jay Miller. And KCA somehow made contact with that pitch. If he didn't, it might have hit him on the knee.
Well, that's usually kind of where Joel hangs out early in the game. He'd have to get out of the way of that one. That was a nice line drive in there. I mean, those guys were that ball ricocheted off everything in that little box. I mean, for him to be able to hit that ball, he had to let go with his top hand and pull his right hand down through in order to hit that slider.
Still alive in 1 ball, 2 strikes. Well, someone was hit down there by that line drive. Of course, our guy Phil was just laughing. Wow, that could have been a strike. It crossed up Lucas May. I would like to see where Fox Tracks has that pitch. It's tough to call that a strike because the catcher's jumping all over the place and home plate umpire Ron Kolpa can't see it.
Wow, this is like fight for your life right here. I mean, once he realized that wasn't going to be a fastball, that was like protect myself after that pitch.
Well, it was not in the grid, but it was still pretty close.
I mean, coming out of the hand, it looked like a fastball up, and I mean, he was just very fortunate right there.
There have been more graceful ways of blocking a ball.
And that was almost like swatting flies, you know.
But he got the job done. He kept it off the screen. And now KCA grounds it to Keela. He'll go down to second. High throw, and the Twins have tied the game. If he could do it again, Frank, does he go to the plate?
I think he would have had a better shot at turning that had he got to give it Unieski a better throw, because the ball got there in time to turn it over play. But when Uni had to reach to the outside, then that made that play harder. The safest play, Ryan, would have been to come to home plate. So he had it on the first short hop right there. That's plenty of time with a good throw to second base, but Uni was pulled way off the base, and there was no chance to turn it. But he had a choice.
I'm just thinking fast runner, right-hand throwing first baseman who has to go into a full pivot before he throws down to second base, and that's not even close.
I mean, look when he gets his ball, though. He gets his ball before anybody's barely out of the box. Look where his throw goes, though. If it throws right to Uni, it's a pretty easy play at first base. It would have been a lot closer, but if you're looking to try to protect the game and keep the game where it is run-wise, sure, he can go to home plate and get one out on that, sure.
So first and third. And now Denard Span, who's had a bad time against Luke tonight. 0 for 3 with 2 strikeouts. And now he drives it to center field. Dyson is back. He is there. And saves the inning. But Minnesota ties it at 2 in the 6th. be called to the pen. Matt Guerrier comes on for the bottom of the 6th. So we've seen Scott Baker better than he was tonight. But without his A game, he gets through 5, gives up 2 runs. He also struck out 9. So 9 of his 15 outs by way of the strikeout. He gave up a home run to Keila Kaihue and an RBI single to Lucas May, who is 1 out of 2. He'll be followed by Jay Miller and then Gerard Dyson. No balls and 2 strikes against Guerrier.
I was looking at the first time, second time, third time through on Scott Baker. It's 264, 253, and then the third time through it goes to 315. And if he never makes it to the 4th time, it goes to 400. So he's been kind of teetering around that 5th inning quite a bit in his starts.
Second time Guerrier has pitched in the series. Pitched on Monday, a scoreless inning with a couple of strikeouts. 1 ball, 2 strikes against Lucas May. Two and 2. Now Gil Mesh is warming up in the Royals bullpen, or throwing catch. Pulled outside of third base, 2 balls, 2 strikes. Both Bob McClure and Ned Yost went over and talked to Luke Hochevar for quite a bit at the end of the top of the 6th inning, which was the first sign that Luke might be done. Pitch count in the mid-90s. And Lucas May strikes out, 1 away in the bottom of the 6th, and that's 10 strikeouts for Minnesota pitchers tonight. The final game of the season is the 2nd annual Bark at the K. There will be lots of fun activities for you and your dog, as well as live adoptions and a free dog bowl with ticket purchase. Spend the last day of the season with your furry best friend here at Kauffman Stadium. Royals and the Rays at 1:10. Royals.com, 1-800-6-ROYALS for tickets. Jay Miller is 0 for 2. 2 balls and no strikes. He did not swing. Lance Barksdale is the umpire at first base. Three and 1. Matt Guerrier's one of those guys you don't hear a lot about, being a relief pitcher, and most of the glory, of course, goes to the closers. And Minnesota, over their run of division titles going back to 2002, have had some good ones with Eddie Guardado and Joe Nathan. And good teams, of course, do an excellent job of drafting the players, the right type of players for their organization, making good trades. But this has to be one of the best waiver claims in the Central Division over the last 6 years, as Miller strikes out, and now Guerrier has 2 in the 6th inning. Matt Guerrier was claimed off of waivers from the Pittsburgh Pirates in 2003. And a 3.41 career ERA in the big leagues. And as Dyson lays down a bunt to the first base side, Kadire tags him out. And Guerrier with another 70 appearance season for the Twins. Kansas City and the Royals are joining for a celebrity bowling event to help the Salvation Army and an orphanage for homeless children in Haiti. Here are the items we'll be collecting for the Salvation Army for the homeless here in Kansas City. So if you have any of these at home, in excess or otherwise, we encourage you to bring them out. It's going to be a great night starting at 7 o'clock. And for the orphanage in Haiti, this is what we're looking for. You can get more details at Royals.com or FoxSportsKansasCity.com. So come out and join your favorite Kansas City sports media personalities as they go for the Kingpin, which Joel Goldberg and Jeff Montgomery won last year. Tuesday at 7 p.m. at Lucky Strike in the Power and Light District. Gil Mesh with the Chevy call to the bullpen as the Twins come up. And the top of the 7th inning, Orlando Hudson, Delman Young, and Jason Kubel. Ball 1-2 Orlando Hudson. So here's what Gil has done out of the bullpen, a 1.64 ERA, in the league hitting just .211 against him. This is his 10th appearance out of the pen. (2-0). Luke Hochevar goes 6 innings, gives up 2 runs, 7 hits. And with the exception of 2 innings, there were base runners everywhere. And Luke was able to get out of the 2nd inning, the 3rd inning, and the 4th inning. But the Twins scored 2 in the 6th to tie it. And even by scoring 2 runs, they have still left 8 runners on base tonight. So Luke hoping for win number 7, which would tie his career high. He is no longer the pitcher of record. He will take a no decision. Hudson is 1 out of 3 tonight. Could easily be 2 out of 3 if not for the best defensive play of the game tonight. Alex Gordon diving across the left field line deep in the corner, taking a hit away from Hudson. And now Hudson strikes out. So a good start for Gil Mesh. So with 1 out, let's go to the Kingpin. And here's Joel Goldberg.
Well, first off, let's make sure we say Jeff Montgomery and Joel Goldberg, not the other way around. We know who carried that team. Friday, Real Royals Trivia. It is the final Real Royals Trivia of the year, so I want everybody to come out early. It's always a good time at Rivals. Great prizes for everybody, whether you come in first, second, or third. And we'll give you guys these trivia questions. You know, yesterday we had Split,
Jamie
obviously.
Quirk.
No, but he will be at your bowling event.
Okay.
So that's good. Jamie's been an answer every now and then. We got to get our buddies in there. But yesterday on the pregame show, we had Split, obviously. We had Bert Blyleven. And I was asking them about going up against each other. And, you know, they both said that you had to keep the game low, you know, when you went against each other. Now, Split said, he was the king of the complete game shutout. Not Split, but Bert. Split had 1 in his career against Minnesota. How many complete game shutouts did Bert Blyleven have in his career against the Royals?
Well, I'm
There's usually a multiple choice for the fans. I don't want to scare them away. But for you guys, let's see what you can do there.
Well, he has the most wins of any pitcher against the Royals. And I believe he finished his career 5th all-time in shutouts. So it's probably a pretty impressive number. I'll say 6.
Frank?
I'll say 7.
Frank White on the nose with 7.
Nice, Frank.
I was going to give it to Ryan because I thought 6 was pretty close. You math majors know what his ERA was in those games?
Ryan knows.
Well, I'm guessing it would be 0.
That's that question that will throw you on Real Royals Trivia if we're kind of feeling sorry and you're not really getting anywhere.
Okay.
But you better not get it wrong. Real Royals Trivia on Friday. If Bert was here, I'd have him come out there and, you know, he could be a guest or something. But it'll be Tampa Bay, and it'll be our final one of the year. Looking forward to it.
All right. Thanks, Joel. My favorite part about Real Royals Trivia is when we run the video promo, we get that quick shot of Royals producer Kevin Schenk.
Well, Kevin loves it, too. I mean, he loves it just as much as Joel.
Driven into the left field corner, and that is a fair ball. And Delman Young puts Minnesota in front 3-2. There are several ways to describe a line drive. And we've heard of frozen rope, a trolley wire, whatever.
A laser.
And that's, take your pick, but that's a good way to describe Delman Young's home run to left.
Gil left this cutter up out over the plate, Ryan, and this ball just inside the foul pole. Oh, it hits it right off the outside. That's even more impressive. That's one you couldn't see with the naked eye from where we're sitting, but.
Yep.
That fan wasn't expecting that.
And now Kubel lines it to left. That's the second time tonight. He has lined out to Alex Gordon, so Kubel is 0 for 4. So Delman Young, with that home run, joins elite company in the Twins organization. He becomes the 5th player all time to have at least 20 home runs, at least 40 doubles, and at least 100 RBIs in one season. Michael Kadire also did that for the Twins, and he's at the plate with 2 down. And he hits a line drive to right. Jay Miller fades back, and that's the inning. Minnesota takes the lead on Delman Young's 20th of the year. Young's go-ahead home run in the top of the 7th. Fans voted tonight that Brian Dunsing, the former Nebraska Cornhusker, will have the biggest impact for the Twins in the playoffs, followed by Joe Mauer. So we thank you for voting tonight. Mike Aviles leads off the 7th inning against Matt Guerrier. He's talking about Guerrier when the Royals were batting in the bottom of the 6th. This is his 4th consecutive season with the Twins where he's gone at least 70 appearances. He has never been their closer. He does have 4 major league saves, but he's been just about everything else the Twins have needed him to be. Right-handed setup guy, long relief, whatever. So not bad for a guy that was placed on waivers by the Pittsburgh Pirates and picked up by the Twins in 2003. Aviles is 1 out of 3 with a single leading off the 5th inning. 2-2. That base hit gives Aviles a 7-game hitting streak, and he's batting at .311. Struck him out. So Guerrero has faced 4, struck out 3.
Oh, we'll take a look at it. Oh man, that's a hittable one there, Ryan. This is right up out over the plate, and Mike just got too big on it, as you would say. Just tried to hit it way too hard, and just really didn't look like he was in control on that swing right there.
Oh, Billy had a good swing and fouled it back. Wanted to do more with that pitch, so Guerrero in his last 2 pitches has gotten away with pitches that are up. Billy doubled in the 3rd inning, walked in the 5th. And it was a rare hit for him against Scott Baker. Billy had been just 2 out of 26 against Baker before his double in the 3rd inning. Got him chasing down and away. So Guerrero has struck out 4, and the Twins, Baker and Guerrero, have struck out 13.
Real good slider, Ryan. And you don't see Billy take this swing too often. But he was looking for something inside, and good slider down and away, and they would just try to do, all he could do was just try to foul this pitch off.
And now Ron Gardenhire's going to bring on a lefty to face Keela in a 1-run game. It's Brian Fuentes. Royals have had plenty of base runners tonight against Minnesota, but then a lot of standing around on the bases. And they have stranded 8 in less than 7 innings. Minnesota was having the same problem until they got 2 in the 6th inning and then a run in the 7th to take the lead. Minnesota Twins added 2 closers. Right before the trading deadline, they got Matt Capps from the Nationals, and they got Brian Fuentes from the Angels. That was after the first trading deadline, and Fuentes coming over from the Angels on August the 27th. Keila Kaihue with 2 outs and nobody on, and Fuentes, who can be so tough on left-hand hitters, drops a slider in for a strike. Keila homered against Scott Baker in the 2nd inning, but then Baker came back and struck him out twice. Keela's faced Fuentes once, and he struck out. The lower the pitcher's arm drops, the less strain you put on the arm, but the more strain you put on the back. And a lot of sidearm or submarine style pitchers late in their careers will develop back problems. And Fuentes was on the disabled list with the Angels this year with a back problem. And then shortly after being acquired by the Twins, in his first appearance, he faced one batter in the 9th inning, struck him out, so he got a save facing one batter, but then was out for a chunk of games following that because his back flared up again. When he went on the disabled list this year, it was the 3rd time in his career he's been out because of back problems.
Well, the thing about backs, you just never know when they're going to flare up. You know, what pitch or what move you make suddenly, especially if there's a history of it.
Buckled in with a curveball. So the Minnesota Twins have struck out 14 tonight. Atlanta beats Florida, so the Braves increase their wild card lead to 2 games over San Diego with 4 games to play. San Diego trying to make it 3.5. They're at home against Chicago. No score in the 2nd inning. San Francisco leading San Diego by 2 in the West. And San Francisco is trailing Arizona. By the way, the Giants and the Padres will finish against one another over the weekend. Robinson Tejeda makes his first appearance in this series, trying to put Sunday behind him. Bruce Chen pitched a gem on Sunday afternoon. The Royals had a 3-0 lead and thought they had the game in the bag, and as they were walking out the door, the Indians scored 5 runs in the bottom of the 8th inning, all charged to Tejeda. And it was the Indians who won 5-3 and took 3 out of 4 in the series. Danny Valencia against Luke Hochevar was 3 for 3. 1 ball, 1 strike against Tejeda. Just 1 out of 9 in the first 2 games, but 3 singles against Hochevar. And he, along with Michael Kadire, scored the 2 runs to tie the game in the 6th inning. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Jason Repko is on deck, and he'll be followed by Drew Butera. Pass Lucas May, 2 balls, 2 strikes. So Luke Hochaver goes 6 innings, gives up 2 runs, 7 hits. He'll get a no decision. And Gil Mesh, pitching in the 7th, gave up the home run to Delman Young, which put Minnesota in front 3-2. Struck him out. Fastball at 95. Oh, we've seen a lot of strikeouts late in the game. Last night, Frank, the Royals bullpen struck out 7 in a row. The Minnesota bullpen struck out 4 in a row. And now the Twins bullpen with Guerrier and Fuentes have struck out 5 of the last 6. And Tejeda with a strikeout in the 8th inning.
A lot of swing and misses. Well, Tejeda just really threw that ball right by Valencia right there. I mean, after he missed that pitch, he looked at Robbie, turned away, looked back, and said, wow. He just couldn't believe he missed that fastball. He didn't realize, Robbie's fastball got a little hop on it right at the end there.
Repko has walked twice and he is single, so he's working on a perfect night. Two and one. And now trying to lay one down. Tejeda would not be an easy guy to bunt. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
Well, that fastball is really boring in on him. He's fortunate it didn't get hit on the finger with that fastball. Those kind of fastballs, when you're trying to drag bunt, you end up fouling them off your face somewhere because that ball is really jumping in on not a straight 4-seam fastball that's coming in there.
Three balls, 2 strikes. Minnesota heads home after the game tonight. They'll play Toronto in their final 4 games. The Royals have the Tampa Bay Rays beginning tomorrow night. And that's Zach Greinke against Matt Garza, who is from the Twins organization and threw a no-hitter earlier this year. Now, Dan Gladden, who is a former Major League outfielder and a very good one, always has his glove on, but it didn't do him any good here.
There's only one thing wrong with that, Ryan. He's got on the wrong hand. He's trying to be a lefty in the booth.
Another strikeout and 2 down in the 8th inning. Trying to protect John Gordon, the longtime radio voice.
I don't think John would feel pretty safe after this move.
What's he doing? Unless he is a left-handed writer. He was a right-handed thrower as a player.
Oh, man, look at that. That's why you should let him go.
Couldn't even protect the wall.
He ended up falling over John.
They've had 2 in the booth during this series. Tejeda can't grab it with the bare hand. So Butera, who drove in a run in Minnesota's 2-run 6th inning, is safe with 2 outs. And it'll be a base hit.
Well, you asked Robbie again, he'd probably feel like he could make this play, Ryan. He just got to make sure you get it on the first. Now, it's not a very good bunt right here, but he just didn't grab it, didn't get his feet set to grab this ball properly like he was trying to throw before he actually got it. And I'm sure he would have liked to have a second shot at that one.
And now KCA is going to lay down a bunt. Lucas May is on this one and throws him out. That's the inning. So to the bottom of the 8th, Minnesota leads by 1.
Royals Live for you. Paul Splittorff joins me for all of the analysis. We'll hear from Ned Yost. We'll talk about Luke Hochevar's night as he turns in a solid outing. Kila Ka'aihue early on in the game continuing to swing a hot bat. All of that, and we'll get you ready for the 4-game series between the Royals and the Rays coming up after the game. Ryan?
All right, thank you, Joel. Looking forward to that. Minnesota has Jesse Crain, the right-hander, Jose Majares, the lefty, warming up behind Brian Fuentes. He came on with 2 outs in the 7th and struck out Kila. It'll be Wilson Betemit, Alex Gordon, and Yuniesky Betancourt. So Fuentes stays in there as the Twins would rather have Betemit bat right-handed. As a left-hand batter tonight, he struck out 3 times against Scott Baker. 1 ball, 1 strike.
I think Ron Gardenhire's probably seen that almost home run that he hit. He almost hit left-handed down in the corner there in right field. So he hasn't played in a few days, and majority of his home runs are from the left side.
9 home runs as a left-hand batter, 4 as a right-hand batter. Very shallow center field, and Denard Span comes sprinting in for the out. So Betemit is 0 for 4. And now another left-hand batter coming up, and Alex Gordon. And then we'll see what Ron Gardenhire does when Yuniesky Betancourt comes to the plate. Alex does not have an official at-bat yet. He has walked twice, he's been hit by a pitch, and he scored a run. The Royals got both of their runs in the 2nd inning and had a 2-0 lead until the 6th. Minnesota tied it in the 6th and took the lead in the 7th on Delman Young's home run. Alex has 2 plate appearances in the past against Fuentes, and he is 0 for 1 with a walk. Jesse Chavez getting ready for the top of the 9th inning if the Royals do not tie it or take the lead. If they do, it'll be Joakim Soria. And Alex out into shallow center, but Hudson runs it down and then has to avoid KCA, who did something. And whatever he did, he's trying to avoid the collision.
Well, it shows that athletic ability again, Ryan, but you see what his ball is, and KCA is well on the shortstop side of second base. And Hudson's probably looking around and saying, what are you doing over here? But he's been an acrobat all night tonight.
Like a guy running down the street trying to hop over a puddle. Well, Ron Gardenhire is going to stay with Fuentes to face Yuniesky Betancourt. Maybe going by prior matchups, and Uni is 0 for 5 against Fuentes. Way outside, 2 balls, no strikes.
That's when Uni's got to get his pitch on this pitch. He's 2-0. He's in the driver's seat. Look for some middle in, up a little bit. Anything away, let it go.
Got a pitch up and fouled it away. 2-1. 2 hits tonight, a double in the 2nd inning and a single in the 4th. Three and 1. Fuentes is not Joakim Soria. A lot of his saves come with some drama, some suspense. But last year with the Angels, he saved 48 games, and that was the most in the major leagues. It is a called strike, 3-2.
You know how hard it is on fans and managers and teammates to watch it when the game's on the line. You know you got a one-run lead and you got a couple guys on, as we see Fuentes really paint the outside corner with this fastball. And you wonder what the player's going through.
That's in the gap. And past Denard's span. So Betancourt to second base, but it'll hold there. So the tying runs in scoring position with 2 outs. Uni has his second double tonight and his third hit.
Well, Fuentes painted himself in a corner, Ryan, going 3-2. You got to give him a pitch to hit right here. And Uni does a good job getting the ball down, getting the bat hit through this pitch and drive it into left center field all the way to the wall, and got himself a double. You see him making a good turn here. He's just going to be right there at second base. The other thing I noticed about a lot of the raw runners, you know, we talk about running bases and making a good turn, and, you know, you want to make that turn short. But I've seen more of their runners step on top of the bag rather than hit the inside corner of the bag is what you usually teach.
And probably a result, as you pointed out with Gerard Dyson the other night, because they're watching the ball rather than looking down at the bag when they cross first base.
And that's the only way. That's the only explanation I can come up with too.
A runner at third base with 2 outs. A wild pitch moves up Yuniesky Betancourt.
Well, this is a tough ball right there. There's not much he can do on this pitch right here, Ryan. He gets over in front of it. The ball just keeps going to its left, and he just couldn't get in front of that one. Just a spiked ball down in the ground right in front of the plate.
So 1-1 on Lucas May, and now 1 ball, 2 strikes. I don't know if Jesse Crane is just a decoy out in the bullpen, but 2 right-hand batters coming up. Betancourt and Lucas May, and Jesse Crane just standing out there on the rubber. Another right-hand batter after Lucas May and Jay Miller.
But the only thing I could think of is that Ron Gardenhire, in case something does happen to Matt Capps in the playoffs, he can't use him. He may be using this 8th inning with a 1-run lead as a save situation for Fuentes and see what he can do in this situation.
Well, he did mention the matchups, and Betancourt had been 0 for 5 against Fuentes, but he's 6 for 12 against Jesse Crane. 2 balls, 2 strikes. So you don't always go with the right-hand pitcher just because there's a right-hand hitter at the plate.
That's true. It's about the success rate, and Fuentes has been in this situation before. So it's not really out of character for him to be in this situation.
Still 2-2. Royals are trying to sweep the Twins in Kansas City for the first time in 16 years. They have already won the series, and that's the first time they've done that in the last 10 series here at Kauffman Stadium. Another foul ball, still 2-2. Lucas drove in a run back in the Royals' 2-run second inning, and it made it 2-0 Royals. They haven't scored since. Twins got 2 in the top of the 6th inning with Butera and KCA driving in runs, and then Minnesota going in front in the 7th on a 1-out home run from Delman Young. That was against Gilmesh. Another foul ball. So just fighting off the borderline pitches, hoping for a mistake.
That's all you can do when you get to 2 strikes. Anything close, you want to try to foul, like you say, Ryan, foul the tough ones off and hope you get that sweet one on the next pitch. I think right after throwing that wild pitch on a breaking ball, I think he might be reluctant to throw it in this situation. So Lucas May could probably look for a fastball.
Another foul ball, still 2-2. On a couple of occasions, Yunievsky Betancourt at third base has bluffed as though he was going to try and steal home, trying to get a balk out of Fuentes, and he does it again. Just some sort of a flinch to get a cheap run, and Butera saves a run. 3 balls, 2 strikes. With 2 outs and nobody on, Betancourt doubled, and he went to third on a wild pitch. And now a long battle between Lucas May and Fuentes. This is the 10th pitch, and it's fouled away. It has been a very productive series for Lucas May, as he has driven in 4. Prior to this series, he had 2 RBIs. 4 of the 6 this season have come in the last 3 games. Trying to make it 1 more with Betancourt down at third base and 2 outs. This is pitch number 11. And he popped it up. So he got it in on the hands just enough. Kadire down from first. And Minnesota hangs on. We go to the 9th inning in a 1-run game. After losing 10-8 on Monday and 10-1 last night. So a 1-run game to the 9th, and it's Jesse Chavez on for the 22nd time. It'll be the top of the order for the Twins. Robinson Tejeda pitched a scoreless 8th. Gil Mesh gave up a run in the 7th, and Luke Hochevar gave up 2 in his 6 innings. Aviles plugs the hole and throws out Denard Span. He's 0 for 5, so the Royals pitched him well. Span is just 1 out of 12. Here's Orlando Hudson, who is 1 out of 4. Twins trying to end a season-long 5-game losing streak. Trying to win their first since clinching the division. Now Hudson, that's into deep right center field. A long run for Miller and Dyson, and it is off the wall. So Hudson is into second base with a 1-out double.
Justin Chavez is really trying to change his arm angle to try to help his pitches out, Ryan, but here looks like a changeup, and he just leads this ball up out over the plate, and Orlando Hudson flexes his muscle on this one. You see him cruising into second base, and had not probably been for the speed of the outfielders, he'd probably be looking at a triple on that particular ball.
So he's at second for Delman Young. And his swing in the 7th inning is the difference in the game. His 20th home run of the year and his 109th RBI. One ball, one strike. This was against Gil Mesh with 1 out in the 7th.
Oh, this one left in a hurry too, Ryan. He left it out over the plate, and this was a quick swing and the line drive just off the foul pole.
And you don't have 109 RBIs unless you're very good with runners in scoring position. And he comes through with a base hit to center field. Dyson will play it to second, and Minnesota leads by 2. So Delman Young with his 110th driven in this year. So there he is, third best in the league in this department.
Well, he's really come on, Ryan. He tell you, when he first went to Minnesota, you didn't know exactly what kind of hitter he was going to be, but he's showing this #1 draft choice status right now. And that is a tough pitch down and in. He got inside of it and drove a line drive back in the right back into center field to score Hudson.
Our trivia question tonight had to do with #1 overall picks that pitched this year in the big leagues. Well, Delman Young was the first overall pick in 2003. 1 ball and 1 strike on Jason Kubel. His brother Dimitri Young played for a long time in the big leagues, and he was a first-round pick. That was back in '91, going to the Cardinals. Two balls and 1 strike on Kubel. He's 0 for 4. 2 of his outs have been line outs to left field, and he has struck out twice. So his struggles continue in the month of September. He did have that big game on Monday with 5 RBIs. Keelup thought about second base, goes back to first to get what he thought was going to be a sure out, and it was very close, 2 down.
Keeler's thinking about getting the lead runner right here, Ryan, but where he almost got himself in trouble at was if he goes across the base right here, there's a big collision with Kubel at first base, so did a good job staying inside the bag and getting me out.
Rookie Ben Revere, now that Young and moved up into scoring position, will run for him. And Michael Kadire bats with 2 outs. He is 1 out of 4. Inside, ball 1. Did he go? Yes. First base umpire Lance Barksdale saying that Michael Kadire had intent. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Michael Kadire was the Twins' first-round pick in 1997. As a third baseman, he played there for a while. He played second base, played a little first base, moved around in the outfield, and then found a home in right field in 2006. Down on strikes, the inning is over. The Twins add a run, and the Royals trail by 2. Batting in place of Jay Miller, and he'll be facing Matt Capps, who has 15 saves since joining the Twins, 2 blown saves. We saw him last night with Minnesota down by 9, just getting some work in the bottom of the 8th inning, and he struck out the side. So it'll be Blanco, then Gerard Dyson, and Mike Aviles. Jay Miller, by the way, was 0 for 3. Scott Baker went 5 innings, gave up the 2 Royals runs back in the 2nd inning. And then Matt Guerrier and Brian Fuentes combined for 3 scoreless innings. Inside ball 1 to Blanco. Through the left side, base hit. So that means the tying run is at the plate with nobody out. Blanco comes through as a pinch hitter.
That's fastball away. He does a good job staying with it. Didn't try to pull it, went right with the pitch and found him a hole on the left side. I wonder if Gerard Dyson with Blanco has the speed to steal second base, but you wonder if Ned Yost is going to opt to sacrifice bunt right here.
Outside, 1 ball, no strikes. Maybe not in a 2-run game.
Lost a run there somewhere.
Minnesota getting an insurance run in the top of the 9th. He could bunt for a base hit. He has not swung the bat well in this series. He does have his first major league home run. And when Dyson faced Capps last night, he struck out against him. So in this series, Dyson is just 1 out of 13. And 1 out of his last 27. Capps can't throw him a strike, and it's 3-0. So the Royals are 1 pitch away from having a whole bunch of speed on the bases and the tying run at first base.
This is one of those situations where you need base runners and you're 3-0, Ryan. Gerard Dyson could conceivably take 2 strikes right here and just make sure that Caps gives him a good pitch to hit.
Four-pitch walk. So 2 on and nobody out. And now Mike Aviles, who is 1 for 4. And he's faced Matt Capps once and has a base hit against him.
That's a tough call for Nate Yost here, Ryan. You got one of your hottest hitters up, and you got a chance to get those runners in scoring position with the middle of the yard coming up. Be interesting to see what happens right here.
Going to bunt, and he bunts it foul. I don't know if that was a bunt for a base hit or a sacrifice. It looked like something right in the middle.
I would probably go more toward the bunt for a base hit than a sacrifice on that particular pitch.
So now the Twins are a little closer on the corners after Aviles fouls the bunt away. And Aviles fouls that one away. So Aviles swinging the bat well, 1 for 4 tonight, a 7-game hitting streak, and 5 for his last 12.
One thing, Ryan, you really have to do, too, is after throwing 4 balls to Gerard Dyson, even though you're bunting, you still got to make sure you get a good pitch to bunt before you try to bunt. So both those balls that he tried to bunt weren't strikes.
Got him looking at a fastball. It happens so often. You swing at, or in this case, bunt at, a pitch that isn't a strike. And you tell yourself to be patient, and then at times too patient.
Well, you know, sooner or later he's going to find the zone, man. And there it is right there, right on the outside corner. That's one thing. A lot of times you get guys to sacrifice bunt, and they forget that they still have to get a strike to bunt. And the way Caps pitched to Dyson, I would have made sure I got me a good pitch to bunt. He went after a high pitch, he tried to drag, and then he tried to bunt, also bunt a tough pitch going away from him down in the zone.
So now 2 on, 1 out, Billy Butler. And a slider hits the outside, strike 1. Billy 1 out of 3 tonight with a double, his 43rd of the year. And that gives him 94 doubles in back-to-back seasons, a Royals record. And the double was also his 184th hit of the season, passing last year's career high. And a fastball taken for a strike, and it's 0-2. If Billy gets on, the Royals have already decided they will run for him. And Brian Pena, like a racehorse waiting for the gate to open up, standing on the top step. Outside, 1 ball, 2 strikes. Capps was pitching well for the Nationals when he was traded over to the Twins, and we told you last night, this year, becoming just the 3rd pitcher in Major League history to have 10 saves in both leagues in the same year. He is 15 out of 17 in save opportunities since joining the Twins. Billy fouls it away, 97 miles an hour, and we stay at 1 ball, 2 strikes. The Twins got a good pitching night tonight. They only able to get 5 innings out of Scott Baker, but he worked around a lot of base runners. Gave up 2 runs, 3 1/3 scoreless now from the bullpen. And the Twins' starting pitcher ERA during their losing streak was almost 13. And the Royals pushed around Kevin Slowey on Monday night and Nick Blackburn last night, scoring 14 runs against the 2 Minnesota starters in 6 innings. Billy swings, grounds it to short. KCA to second, and the throw to first is a double play. So Minnesota wins the final game of the series. The Royals win the series, unable to complete the sweep. Delman Young's home run in the 7th inning put Minnesota in front by 1, and his base hit in the 9th put them ahead by 2. So the Twins finished the season 13-5 against the Royals. 4-2 tonight, the final score. We'll be right back.